Hi, everyone. I want to thank you for tuning in and listening to me explain the advantages of Hovair Automotive's single pick point delivery systems for manufacturing facilities. For those of you that don't know me, my name is John Edwards. I'm the Vice President of Sales at Hovair Automotive. We're a material handling manufacturer based in Franklin, Indiana. We've been in the material handling arena for a little over 35 years. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is a system that a customer came to us and they were looking for a way to decrease the non-value added movements in their production processes. And they were also looking for ways to present the parts to the operators in the same position every time that they needed to be to access the parts and, give the operator the opportunity to not pick the wrong part also. So to better explain this, I wanted to give you guys a few examples or, maybe go through, I don't know how many of you guys have, my family and myself have moved quite often. And my 11-year-old has moved a total of 8 times in his life. So my wife and I and the family have gotten fairly good at decluttering, if you will, or trying to set up a process for making sure we know where things need to go in the kitchen or need to go in our house and to make it easier. With 4 children, there's things laying everywhere all the time. So and it's frustrating when you can't find things. It's frustrating when you go to do a job and you don't have the tools to do it. So I'm kind of drawing a little bit of that analogy to how the single pick point systems will work. So to better explain this, I'm going to ask a few questions. They may seem silly, but I'm hoping it helps to explain why a single pick point system can and should be used in a production process. So number one, in your kitchen at your home, if you need a fork or a spoon to eat your lunch with, do you have that fork or spoon in different locations or in different drawers or areas in the house? Or if you're doing your laundry, is your washer located down the hall or in a different room than your dryer? And lastly, a third question would be if you go to grab a beer or a beverage of your choice from your refrigerator in your kitchen, and there's more beverages of that type in the fridge, and you want another one, do you walk out to the garage to the fridge or to the basement to a different fridge to get a second one of the same type? Of course, this comes with a little bit of caveat. We're understanding that you're in the same area, you want to be in the same area to consume this said second beverage, which may be a little bit of a stretch considering the current quarantine that we're under. You may want a change of scenery or to get away from folks that you are cohabitating with. But in all honesty, why go all the way to the garage to get the same beer is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So hopefully from that perspective, those may seem a little silly, but that's in a manner what we're, in using some of our core values and being innovative. The customer came to us. We decided to come up with an option for our customers to consolidate or localize, if you want to call it, the part presentation in the way of calling it a single pick point, which is truly what it is. The customer was looking for an ability to bring the parts in and to present them to the operator in one single position every time. So what I've got here is a slide showing you the current operation. So at this customer's facility, they had 4 different types of batteries on the assembly line. They wanted to make sure that the operator was picking the correct battery, putting it into the vehicle, and that was all they wanted them to do. So they didn't want the operator to think about what battery to pick, where to pick it from. They didn't want them to worry about flipping the empty, dunnages, from the batteries to the empty positions. So you can see in the layout here that we've got set up basically 4 full battery components and then empties on either side. So they would pull a battery out and flip an empty dunnage. And this whole time, this person's walking or could possibly walk a total of, say, 30 feet to pick up a battery from the furthest end of the layout and load it into the vehicle. So in an effort to cut this down, the customer wanted to have a single pick point that would not only allow the battery to present it at the same time, but they could pull the battery off, go to load it onto the vehicle, and then come back and have the next battery in location ready for them to pull to load into the vehicle again, without thinking, without flipping dunnage, without trying to take a lid off of a new one that had been delivered. So in that aspect, what we came up with was a single pick point system. So in these pictures here is the actual line side view of the same area where we had taken all 4 of those lift and rotate tables out and put in a single pick point delivery system. So what happens with this is a cart would be loaded up in a marketplace system with the batteries, in sequence to the build schedule. The cart would dock to this particular system running along into this guide channel on the backside. The full batteries would travel off, the empty pallets would travel on, and they would go back to the marketplace for this cycle to continue. Now, at the operator station, which is located on this side in this picture, they would pull one battery off of the same height every time, load it to the vehicle, come back, the next battery would be waiting for them. So this actually, they had the issues, and this is where we've gone to the resolution. So they had 4 different parts. We reduced it to 1. They had 4 different parts locations. We reduced that to 1. The only distance they had to cover was pulling it from the single pick point system and loading it to the vehicle. They didn't have to make any other decisions, in this process. So the main objective, again, for this customer is to getting the right part into the vehicle, and that's it. So we took out all the other what ifs or duties that this person needed to do. So when you're looking at this, we'll show you a quick video of what this would look like in this scenario, where right now this would be the battery obviously coming into position for the operator to pull the parts off. So a single battery, again, is presented to the operator. They would pull this battery off of this system with a lift assist and load it into the vehicle. So each one of these batteries is sequenced to the next vehicle coming down the line. So we deliver 20 batteries at a time, and then obviously David's standing at the single pick point for the operator to remove the battery and load it into the vehicle. So for that perspective, we did what the customer needed. We took away a lot of the muda, if you want to call it that, or the non-value added, and let them focus on the task at hand, which was physically getting the part into the vehicle, the correct part into the vehicle safely, so that they didn't have to think about doing anything else. So that's basically in review right now from a single. If you have issues at your facility right now where you may have non-value added movements or a longer walk or tack time to an individual pick point or area, if you have multiple part locations or types, you have a process that lends itself to a batch of one, meaning you don't build anything in batches. You're not building 60 or 70 or 100 of one thing. You're building one part A and then part B, and then you might have part A again. You may have part C. So if you're looking for some way that the operator can focus strictly on the task at hand, then single pick point might be an option for your production facility. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, you can reach me. Again, my name's John Edwards. You can reach me at sales@hovairauto.com if you shoot me an email, or you can call us at our Franklin facility at the 317-738-0485 phone number, or take a look at us on the web, and we'd be happy to help you with any of the opportunities you may have. So thanks again for listening, and have a great week.